Best Hypercars 2022, Rolls-Royce Sweptail, McLaren F1, Bugatti Chiron, and more. Hello and welcome back to MIA Luxury Cars. For today's video, we will be going to talk about the best Hypercars 2022. Let's get started. Porsche 918 Spyder. This car appears stunning in person and is a highly sophisticated machine. It's just that, in comparison to the other hypercars on this list, it's a little more buttoned down. Porsches are simple and get the job done, and this one does it so well that anyone can get behind the wheel and set blisteringly fast lap times around the track. Thanks to an upgraded all-wheel drive system with electronically controlled front wheels, it enables the Porsche to slingshot out of any corner while remaining planted in the tight ones. It's highly refined and produces an absolutely perfect driving dynamic that's capable in any driving situation. But as you'll see from my pics, irrationally and a high level of danger are what makes hypercars so amazing. McLaren F1. This one was built before the term even existed. During a decade of astonishingly fast supercars, the McLaren F1 will be remembered as the world's fastest production car. Despite being ahead of its time, it fits well into the hypercar category due to its near $1 million MSRP and hyperfast performance. It even won the 24 Hours of Le Mans using only a wing and racing tires. It was almost like an unintentional SCG took the overall win, owing to all the other cars breaking down. In any case, this thing is legendary, and they now sell it for Sweptail money. This car would still be number one if not for recent advancements in automotive technology. SCG-003CS. A few very special lunatics now have access to an SCG-003CS. Jim Glickenhaus used the initial success of his Ferrari Enzo-based P45 to help him build this SCG for GT3 endurance racing, which has built from the ground up with the help of a bunch of Italian geniuses. This is also street legal. To be legal to drive in the United States, the SCG had to be sold as a kit car. So you buy the hypercar, have it shipped to you in pieces, assemble it at a shop with the help of an SCG mechanic, break every speed limit on your way down to Florida, compete in the 24 Hours of Daytona, piss off every factory GT3 team that can't keep up with you, have a great time, and then drive back home in the same car. Mercedes-Benz Project One. So for the time being, number one goes to the Koenigsegg 121, obviously before the number one appears twice in its name, and this is due to its incredible power to weight ratio. It's exactly 1-to-1. It weighs 1,360 pounds and has 1,360 horsepower. That's 1 horsepower per pound, and it's entirely designed to handle that horsepower around the truck. It began setting production car laps records at every single track it visited. We are quietly witnessing an outbreak of concept hypercars that are becoming even faster, despite the fact that there are only 7 examples. The 1-to-1 has set a standard for Koenigsegg and the rest of the automotive industry to push the boundaries of what we previously thought was possible. Bugatti Chiron. The Bugatti Chiron, the successor to what some consider the first hypercar, the Bugatti Veyron, is number 5 on my list. I remember when Trent's little brother Corey showed me a magazine with the Veyron on the cover when I was in my buddy Trent's house, practicing bass for my emo brand morsel of a crumb. I began flipping through the pages. 16 cylinders, 10 radiators, 4 turbos, nothing could ever compete with this thing. Bugatti, on the other hand, surprised everyone when it unveiled its successor in 2016. The Chiron has 1,479 horsepower, which allows it to accelerate from 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds, and from 0 to 124 in 6.1 seconds. With that kind of performance, you'd think the Chiron would be a stripped-down truck monster you'd never want to drive on a daily basis. But you'd be mistaken. Not only is this one of the world's fastest cars, but it's also one of the most luxurious. The interior of the Chiron is completely leather with billet aluminum accents. Pagani Huayra BC. The fourth place Pagani Huayra BC is a perfect example of an over-the-top hypercar with lavish styling and performance that is completely irrational and completely magnificent. Every component of this vehicle has been modified to save weight. The handbrake was also removed in favor of a lighter electronic system. Lighter, by the way, usually means more complicated. While the Bugatti has one of the most extravagant engine configurations, its styling is refined and quite tame when compared to the Huayra BC. The BC is completely mental on the inside and out. The interior is a work of art. The exterior is flamboyant, and the twin-turbo V12 engine draws your attention. It's everything you'd expect from a hypercar that costs $2.5 million, and it's a perfect example of what it means to be a hypercar. Rolls-Royce Sweptail. This level of absurdity is not the only factor at work. To some, a ridiculous price tag is just as impressive. The Sweptail isn't particularly fast, but it has by far the most expensive MSRP in the world, $14 million to be exact. For the price of one Sweptail, you could own almost all of the cars on this list, and that says a lot. Perhaps it's because there are champagne holders in the center console. It's quite another to turn a hypercar into a Civic by simply parking next to one in your $14 million Sweptail and getting drunk. Ferrari Laferrari. In terms of hypercars, the Ferrari Laferrari is heaven on earth. It's the ideal combination of everything you want on the truck and all the street cred you could ever want. Its design is refined yet daring. Its V12 power plant is the stuff of dreams, and its rear-wheel drive mid-engine layout has proven to be the best app for such a long time. It doesn't matter if you were born to race or are just a wealthy car enthusiast. The LaFerrari fits into every category. It shifts extremely quickly, has a lot of personalities to let loose around the truck, and has all of the incredible driving dynamics of its proven race cars. When you consider all of the dream cars that Ferrari has produced in the past and place this one at the top of the list, it becomes clear how unique this vehicle is. McLaren P1. The McLaren P1 stunned everyone with its incredible style and performance when it debuted in 2014, with a slew of brand new technology that completely altered the way a car works. It's a rear-wheel drive, electronically dampened hybrid-powered Formula One inspired beast with nearly 1,000 horsepower. It spits flame and appears to be the fastest car on the market. However, because the P1 is rear-wheel drive, you must be extremely skilled to muscle this car around the truck. For many drivers, including myself, this is what makes driving more enjoyable, even if you're not the fastest on the track. The P1 restored McLaren's place among the world's most technologically advanced automakers. With McLaren Senna on the way, it's clear that McLaren is one of the most innovative and forward-thinking manufacturers in the industry. Hennessey Venom. The Hennessey Venom earned a victory for the United States by breaking the 270 mile per hour top speed record, which put other hypercars of the time to shame. Horacio Pagani even referred to John Hennessey as a crazy American who builds insanely fast cars. He's now working on the next generation of Venom. The same can be said for many other concept cars that are set to be released in the near future. However, the Venom will always be referred as the first production car to break into the 270s. So which of the hypercars has caught your interest, and which car do you consider to be the best? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.